All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another show here live. Locker Room Sports Talk. Glad y'all come by and make us a part of your day. Got plenty to talk about today. We're going to talk about some game changers. What we're going to talk about. Guys, it's really going to have a big time way in how they can change the game. We're also going to go over some bowl games that just perspired here over the weekend. We're going to go through those and talk about them. Rose Bowl talk. And if we're going to talk Georgia football, I mean, this guy right here has got to be the one you're going to bring on. I mean, if we're going to talk smack about Georgia, I have to be careful. He's on here, but what's going on, Burgess?
Not much, just enjoying the time here in the holiday season.
Yeah. Make sure you find him over at B Burge on Twitter. Just Google Northwest Georgia Scoreboard Show, man. He's going to come up fur coat wearing, limousine riding, airplane flying, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. High school football covering in Georgia. Any info or things that you need to know about over there in that part of the world, that'd probably be the best place to go find out all you want to find out there. But during some college stuff here, especially when his dogs are playing, we'd like to bring him in here on the show and talk some football. We'll put the comments over here on the short side of the screen. Thank you all for coming by and hanging out. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up on the video while you lag it around over here. Let everybody come in here on the page. Jeff, throwing his review from Carrollton, Georgia, over there, the home of the champs. What a game that was. I mean, Buford and Carrollton, holy crap, man, what the heck? Did it kind of turn out how you thought it would, or how was the game to you?
Yeah, I mean, star-studded. You got tons of talent on that team. I mean, basically, small college teams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, man. That's what a heck of a game, man. It's a very interesting game. We had to bring that up, I know, because we're going to talk about some college bowl games. I guess first off the top of the list right here, the upset. That's the main topic of the day, and of course we all know from the picture that we throwed up here to start the show off with, the game changers, the guys here that are could be remarkable guys to help change this game up. We're going to talk about Miami and Ohio State. I got a deep dive into that, and maybe why Miami may have a shot to do this thing, and Bama. Birds, I don't know if they probably just shouldn't show up, because I've been on Twitter with Indiana people for about a week now. I think Bama's just going to forfeit the game because there's just absolutely no chance that Alabama beats number one Indiana. So we're going to try to break that down and get into that Rose Bowl. And then, of course, we're going to review some bowl games over the weekend like BYU, Georgia Tech, how they blew that game. I've never seen such a collapse in my life. And we're going to go through some of those. So I guess first, right off the bat, is the upset. Is there a possibility for Bama to upset Indiana and for Miami to upset Ohio State? I don't know if it's really an upset if Georgia beats Ole Miss, but we're definitely going to get into that game too. But do you think that there's you like Bama's chances maybe to get after it, or Miami to beat Ohio State?
I mean, obviously, I think that both could definitely happen. I think, from what you've seen of Miami recently, especially the past game that they played, I think offensively you're going to have a little more out of their passing game. I mean, they were able to run the ball pretty good. The defense was pretty good, but I don't think you're going to play the same style of game and beat Ohio State. I don't think you will. So, in my opinion, I think you got to see a little more out of Miami's offense. And then, conversely, when Alabama's been able to keep the quarterback upright and in the pocket, he's been successful. And he was successful, against Oklahoma. And I worried coming into that game if Oklahoma could score enough points, because I know the turnovers last time kind of got them. And, when Alabama got it back close or, when they got that pick six, I thought, man, that's anytime.
How lucky is this team? How lucky?
Anytime you score on defense, and your percentage chance of winning goes way up. Just because you're not, it's a stolen possession and points.
Yeah, it gives confidence to the team.
When you talk about the Alabama Indiana game going forward, one thing that Indiana has been is they've been consistent against their schedule. I say that kind of with an asterisk because in a one-off, I don't think it's as bad as if they had to, say they faced, somebody last week and then they got Alabama this week and then maybe they have the Georgia in the next game.
Yeah.
I can see how that would wear on them, but since they haven't had to do that, a one-off, I'm not, I'm going to look and I'm going to say they're going to be ready. Now, the one thing is I'm pretty sure one of their best defensive players is going to be out. And, he's one of those game changers that you were talking about. Yeah, he's not going to be there. And are they going to be able to limit the passing game and get after the quarterback? Because, I don't even know if they're going to be made to even have to stop the run because Alabama hadn't showed all year that they're going to commit to the run. So it's really, can you stop the drop back pass?
Yeah, Indiana, anybody, was going to thump their chest and, we can stop the run, by God. Well, okay, that's good. Alabama don't run the ball, so there you go. Right. So you better hope you got good DBs in your defensive line. You hope you got a good defensive end that can keep Ty, kind of in a scramble mode most of the night. So, there's that. The part with the media that I didn't like, and we did this last week, and I did a 30 minutes about it, and I ain't going to do that right now, but, it's just always when Oklahoma wins with this new team with Nick Saban gone, the thing is Alabama never wins here lately. It's always the other team shoots herself in the foot. Oklahoma just shot herself in the foot. They had the turnover. The quarterback's rolling out, and guy, he's open, back's open down the field, and he drops it. Darn, what a missed opportunity there that they could have probably scored. Well, I'm pretty sure that Ty Simpson had exactly the same thing happen to him, and Bernard was actually on his knees down the field, wide open, on his knees. And Ty threw it right to him. He had to move his arms about 6 inches to the right, and he didn't, and he missed it. So there's two plays identical to each other, got things that were missed identically on the team. So miss me with all the crap, and that's just the way the media is, and that's just how it's going to be. So Alabama fans, with Nick being gone, you're not going to get a kind of a respectful talk or jargon to the team when they win. Like, wow, I don't think anybody said Joel Klatt did. I was kind of surprised. Hey, wow, down 17, and this team holds it together. DeBoer drops his sack on the table and says, hey, on fourth down, not only are we going to go for it, but we're just going to freaking score too. There was credit, and there's just not credit. And you're not going to get any squawking from any other fan base because everybody's sick of Alabama. Nobody wants to hear about them winning. They can't win. Only the other team can lose the game. So there's that. And that's the part that's unfortunate for the players that, really poured it out there on the field. And Womack to adjust from that zone coverage birds from playing Oklahoma, just starting to get after it, listening to his players. I heard from a guy that we watched, he was on the sideline, and he said the players went to Womack and said, hey, this zone's not doing great. Let us get after him and see what happens. And that changed the whole game plan. So now, as far as Miami, Ohio State, and we'll come back around to the Rose Bowl and get some more chatter on that. December 28th. We just got a few more days left in this year. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and everything, and I hope the new year's going to come in good for you. live here in Studio 3B. Again, make sure you hit the thumbs up for the video and like it. I really would appreciate it. The series is tied. They'll play the 31st at 6:30, Birds. 2-2 is Ohio State and Miami. The last matchup was 24-6. Miami taking the regular season win back in 2011. I think the game was at Miami. The Kane Senior leading quarterback at the time was the Ja'Cory Harris kid. He was Mr. Football actually in Florida in 2007. So with the upset on the rise, things are brewing. Defensive line, that's where, Burge, I think that Miami may have an upper hand in this, all right? Their right guard of Ohio State, they think may be one of their weak spots. Their right side, Jeff. Your right tackles and right guard could be a place that could get exposed. Miami has to stop any of the explosive plays from Tate or Jeremiah Smith, down the field, big plays. And, of course, the Akeem kid at Miami, he's extremely huge key to this defense. Now, offensively, Miami needs to win those loose ball contests, and they need to go in and play not only win the contest with turnovers, which is those are the kind of things that you could say for every game. But this Miami team, Beck is I think me and Dean talked about this the other day. Think about the quarterbacks in all these playoff games. He's the most experienced of all the quarterbacks, really. I mean, Ty and the kid at Texas Tech, Moore is his first start. I mean, we got a lot of guys, man, saying this is they're debuting their college football career, and they're here in the playoffs. Am I right? Gunnar Stockton. We're going to talk about him in a minute. That Gunnar played a little bit last year, but the keys were handed to him now. So I think that's why we're seeing some abnormal offensive plays, and things are not seeming to be great, and it may be making the defense seem like they're a lot better. So my take is with Miami, Lashley, is get the ball to Tony. He's your playmaker, bro. He is the dude that can go out there and make this happen. He has an extra gear. He has another wheel in his heel and his shoe. Like he's running, and all of a sudden the heel drops down, the wheel comes out. Them kids will just roll by you in the mall. That's the way this kid is, man. And he's a freshman. He's a super talent, but Miami's got to play loose and not try to overthink it. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like Miami's play calling, man, like every fourth or fifth play is like a reverse or some sort of trick play. It's like they don't want to call they don't want to press the ball down the field. They ran the ball okay. I mean, I think they're going to have to run it against Ohio State, but I don't know. I don't favor Miami in this game. I don't think it sets up well for Miami. I obviously you can tell by that. I'm going to pick Ohio State to win this game.
Tony's got to be the deciding factor, and he's their big time playmaker. They got to stay away from Caleb Downs. The number one team in the nation, Indiana Hoosiers, just Ohio State. Nobody's going to be able to do nothing with them. They're going to run away with this thing. Probably beat Alabama 50-0. But here's my suggestions for Miami, and I'm sure Coach, is really, Cristobal is paying attention to the show. He's an avid watcher, so I'm sure he's just waiting for my offensive analysis. I would throw some quick crossing routes with Beck and letting the guys get, the ball in their hands out more, throw to Lofton out in the flats and that kind of stuff. Tony's got 970 yards receiving. They have two standout offensive linemen, Mayoga and the Coke kid. They're tied in. Lofton we talked about, and he also plays H-back. And Daniel's their wide receiver. Him and Tony are both got 7 or 8 touchdowns. So, look, throw the ball in little routes. Try not to be too fancy and use some of your speed that we saw them just totally put A&M on the map. So there's those opportunities for them to do that. But I think the defensive line for Miami is going to play a huge role in this. But now to pick it, yes, Ohio State's got a lot of weapons. But here's what worries me, Birds. to roll with you on that side of it. I mean, A&M does have a good defense. I mean, but is that the best Miami could do against A&M? Really, that worries me a little bit, And with Ohio State too, like really, that's the best you got against Indiana. Because I'm kidding about them beating Bama 40-0. I think Indiana's a fraud. I have all year long. You can attest to this. Bird has been on with me all year, and I've just never. And I'll tell you in a minute some more statistical analysis to prove my point. So, does Miami have a shot? I think Beck is the game changer. He's the one that can make this happen. He's the general on the field. He's the older guy that everybody's going to look to. Sure, they have a chance. I just think Ohio State probably has too many playmakers, man. I don't know. Their defense is going to play tough. So the few guys that Miami does have, from Lofton to Tony and these other guys I've mentioned, I don't know, man. I just can't. It's hard to go against the talent. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just is what it is. And I think Ohio State, these guys have played in a lot of big games. From these seniors that they have on the team, I just couldn't go against it, I'm going to tell you about this Indiana defense, Jeff, in just a minute. We're going to break down that. So, yeah, I'd have to take Ohio State. So, Rose Bowl picks, Birds. Let me give you some statisticians' works here. Here's some knowledge for some Big Ten people. Ty Simpson against ranked opponents, 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. He throws for 63% of his completion percentage. Mendoza against his currently ranked opponents that he's played against is 670 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks with a 62% completion percentage. So there's a huge difference in that. 1,400 yards versus 670. So over twice the amount of yards and twice the touchdowns and same interceptions. Here's the thing. Number one, we just talked about the quarterbacks, Birds. What's your position on the quarterbacks? Head-to-head, Ty and Mendoza. Have you really even watched Indiana play? I watched them play I went back and have watched them play. Played Oregon, but then I went back and watched them play Iowa and Ohio State again. So
I've watched him play a few times. I have not watched him play under duress enough to know what he's going to do in the moment against Alabama. Now, against Ohio State, they did. I think they were able to get to him 2 or 3 times. But he's just not had to deal with that on a constant basis, for the entire game. And, Alabama can produce the guys, whether it be a blitz or a defensive line play, to get back there. And I think it's what you got to do. You got to force them to get the ball out to the underneath guy or whatnot.
Yeah, make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously that could be good against any quarterback, but
yeah.
I want to see again, him versus that more, because I ain't seen enough of that.
Yeah. Yeah, the sample size is just very small. And here's the record. We'll look at records here. 11-3 Alabama has wins against 5, 16, 14, 11. They lost again to Oklahoma earlier in the year. Then they lost the SEC game to Georgia. Then they went and beat Oklahoma at number 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranked opponents, and they've lost to both. They had 2 rematches this year. Rematch Georgia won. Rematch Oklahoma, they won. Indiana's at the time ranked opponents was Illinois, Oregon, and Ohio State. Illinois fell off the face of the earth because they're terrible. And people can say, well, Matt, LSU was ranked on there. So those 5 actual wins could really be 6 wins because when Alabama beat LSU, they were ranked too. They were in the top 14 or 15 at the time. So there's that. Then those are worth talking about. Now with the defense that Jeff's talking about, I'm writing this down. The defense that Jeff is talking about, the defense is good against the run, okay, and they're because who have they went against besides the bag boy from Kroger and the guy that gets the shopping carts up there at the wrong Walmart? Who's run the ball against them besides them 2 guys? Nobody. Okay, the leading rushers in the SEC in the conference, Hardy was your top guy, rushed for, way over into the thousands, 1,300 yards. He had 50 yards against Alabama and Georgia. I think he had 48 against Bama and 53 against Georgia, or maybe vice versa. So they hadn't seen I don't know of anybody. I mean, I've been through their schedule and I went through their stats. So defensively, you say, well, Matt, Indiana, their passing defense is top notch. Well, let me tell you what happened. See, this is the difference, Burge, and I know I say this a lot, and I got to quit saying it, but it's just true. There's people that just watch. I'm calling them Saturday. I'm calling them watchers now. The old Stephen King movie watchers. There's watchers out there, and they just watch their team, and that's fine. And that's what you're supposed to do because you're a fan of that team. But people that do this a lot, like we do, especially in what you do for side hustle, you don't just watch Chattooga football. You watch a lot of high school football in Georgia. It's kind of what you do. You're at all different kind of games. You're analyzing different players from all over the state of Georgia. And these people that kind of watch their team, they just think that they're really good because it's all they see. But I'm here to inform you that their pass defense looks good because teams have got behind on them. So therefore, because there ain't no big running threats up north, there's really no threats at all besides Ohio State. And I don't know. I guess you got to put Oregon in there because they're still in the playoffs. Those are really the only 2 teams. And I guess you could say the same with Ole Miss and Georgia, which are going to, rematch, which is unfortunate for the SEC. We're going to lose a team out of this, and Indiana and Ohio State wouldn't meet till the title game, and Oregon would be way later to meet one of them 2. But they have to throw the ball a lot, these teams they play against. So if you throw the ball against somebody a lot, then your pass defense is going to look good. All right, 2, their running game. Jeff's going to say, well, Matt, Indiana has just really stuffed the ball down everybody's throat. Ramby and those guys, I did a more deeper dive into them the other day. These guys are from James Madison. He's actually from Florida. He played at Chaminade Madonna. He was a 3-star player. He was a top 200 kid coming out of high school. And he wound up, I think North Carolina State looked at him, and he wound up at James Madison. So a lot of these players at Indiana are from James Madison. Now, if they were really great players, they're just dogs, it seems like they'd wound up somewhere other than James Madison. So these running backs, Birds, they've got in 4 games against Indiana State, Kennesaw State, and 3 other teams, even later in the year like Maryland and those type teams. They run for 300 yards against those type teams because they're terrible. I don't even know if those teams could beat Mississippi State down here, Birds. I think Auburn and Mississippi State and Arkansas could beat Kennesaw State, Maryland, and Indiana State. I think some Big Ten people would agree with that too. So if they're running for 300 yards a game in 4 of those games, then that's 1,200 yards of their 1,700. So that means that's only got 500 more yards rushing against about 8 other games. I just can't pick a shiny turd that when you pick it up, it looks like gold, but when you pick it up, it's just a turd. I just can't see how a team that has padded all their yards and run for 300 or so yards against those peon teams that I just mentioned, the teams that Alabama and Georgia schedule for their late November games to tune up for a real game, I just can't go against that. So now Surratt, their wide receiver, I do like him. He's a big body guy. He can go up and get the ball. But I hadn't seen anybody like from Browns to Sabs to Hubbards, any of those guys that he's had the body to try to go up and get the ball. Nonetheless, to say, while you got the leading tackler, Justin Jefferson, breathing down your neck, and LT Overton's coming, and Quay Russo's coming, and Lonzie Pierre is coming, and Hill Green is coming, and James Smith is coming, and James Smith is a freaking dog killer. I mean, he is really mentally unstable. He kind of reminds me of Reuben Foster. Just everybody's got one of those guys. With all that I just said, I can't see if they go in there and beat Bama, and Bama plays a good game, and they just can't get it done. It is what it is. You just, take your licks. Hey, they won more games this year than probably some people thought. After the Florida State loss, they wrote them off as to being, this is DeBoer's last year. Those are the facts of the case. That's why you tune in here to Locker Room Sports. I give you an under the hood look, not just look at the car because it looks good, but we're going to raise the hood, Virgin. We're going to pull the oil stick. I'm going to let the motor warm up, and I'm going to pull the dipstick, check the transmission fluid. I'm going to go through the car and ready to look at it, and I'm going to drive it. I just ain't going to look at it and buy it sight unseen. So there's some of the facts, and not everybody knows that. And like I said, there's just watchers, but this is what I do a lot. I do it every day. So there's some of the matter of facts, and people can weigh that out how they want. So what say you into those facts of the court here?
You take the evidence that you presented here to the court, and
hear you.
And I think that I think everybody sees Alabama with a chance if they play 4 quarters of what they've seen in spurts out of Alabama, like the second half the other day, or maybe even the second quarter, or, the first half against Georgia, the first time where he was like unbelievable on third down. I really think that it's going to be a back and forth type of game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I really, really, really think that Indiana is going to sit back and make you dink and dunk and not let you throw the ball over the top and challenge you to run it into a light box. And I'm not sure you're even going to try it, which I think you should.
Yeah, you got to.
An Alabama game with a diehard Georgia fan, which I won't name, but I won't call him out. But we're sitting there watching the Alabama game saying, they got 3 guys in the box. Let's hand the ball off, run the ball. We're banging.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And then they're just dropping back and passing. But I mean, it worked out for them. But they're going to make them try to run it because they're going to set back in soft coverage. You're going to be able to throw the little dink pass. I mean, that's what I see, at least initially. And then offensively, they're going to try to defensively. Indiana's going to stunt. They're going to run the wraparounds. They're going to cross the defensive lineman. Can you catch them in a bad position and gash them? To me, running against stunts like that, depending on what your play is, if, they don't get to the right position with the one guy, then you may have a wide open hole. I mean, it's just executing. And that's any game.
Yeah.
I think Indiana's level that they're having to play is definitely risen up. They played Oregon. I think they played USC in the second half of the season. At Oregon, I think was a pretty good win. USC is not a terrible team, not as good as Oregon, I don't think. And then being able to really kind of get over the hump and beat Ohio State kind of shocked me, even though Ohio State was right there. It could have went either way. I feel like this is how this game's going to be. I think either Alabama is foot on the pedal and blows them out, or this is going to be a tight game and either team can win it in the end. And I'm going to stick with the way I picked the bracket. I have Indiana moving on. And I think it's because defensively they're going to make a play or two. And I don't know. I think Alabama's special teams has got to be better as well because against Georgia it was not very good.
No, that was pretty good.
Well, I agree, but yeah.
Yeah. I think Mendoza, I think he's going to have a lot to think about. And
I agree.
There's going to be, for a lot of those guys, not him. He come from UCLA. He's a Florida guy originally. He's just experienced. And I'll remind everybody, too, if they don't know, Indiana's style of offense, Burge, is a RPO with a 2-receiver look. So that's kind of how they run their offense. He can run the ball somewhat, and he's kind of a big guy. You know, he's the 6'4"-ish type guy, 210, 225-ish, something like, like that, 6'4". I'm just not sold on the idea that he's been hit in the mouth enough. And it's not just getting hit. Ohio State popped in that first play. But it's like playing the SEC schedule. A lot of people talk trash about, through the weekend, and we're fixing to go through some of these bowl reviews that we watched yesterday. And Missouri taking a dump, there. And I'll tell you why, because that's what we do here at Locker Room Sports. Locker Room, we talk football. Can you get hit, Birds, 15 times? Not even hit hard, but just pushing him down, or his legs having to scamper on every play nearly, and just getting pushed down and having to get up.
I think my question is, can they get to him like that?
Yeah.
Will they allow him to? Will they get the ball out? Will they try to run the ball? I really do not care too much for Signetti or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I think he acts like a smart mouth, and I would love Alabama to do nothing more to go in there and smack a Big Ten team around. But I just don't.
He's a Yankee. He's a Yankee. I don't know. We just hadn't seen, really a good push for an opportunity for him to, be pushed down a lot, or for their running backs that run for 300 yards a game in those 4 games where they tallied up more than half of their yards for the year. Yeah, it's easy to run for 330 yards against Kennesaw State.
Yeah, so I think that's what makes this playoff system so much fun, is because we get to see this matchup.
Yeah.
We get to see the Miami, Ohio State.
Yeah.
We get to see the Texas Tech, Oregon, which I think is going to be interesting. The only one we've already seen in this round is Ole Miss, but they're in their spot. So
I'm going to take Bama in this one. I think they cover. I think DBs, I think interceptions. Bama's had a pick in every game nearly. Scoring off those turnovers, like you said earlier, that's a key thing, which they've done in almost every game. I just think it's a big challenge. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these guys are from James Madison, and I know they have like three stars and a 4-star, something like that. And we all know Bama's got more 5 and 4 stars than Indiana, more than they've ever had or probably ever will.
Yeah.
But hey, look, man, you drop the right plays and it's coached right, and they know who they are, and if they can make the best lemonade with sour lemons, and they know how much sugar to put in, you can sell it. You can sell that cup of lemonade, and it's good. The thing is, Bama don't have to sweeten up their tea quite as much because they're just going to make good tea. But here's the thing, and we'll move to Georgia Ole Miss. I'm just curious, and I want you to relate this to high school football, and we both do this, and we've seen it, and you played the game and stuff, and when Indiana players, a lot of these guys, Birds, I went through their list. A lot of them are from small places. There are a lot of 3-star guys, and they've never played in something like this. Personally, I've been to Pasadena about 3 or 4 times. It's a beautiful town. People from Pasadena, if you're watching, it's a nice town. The stadium is crap. The road to get down there is crap. The parking's crap. And the stadium is crap.
I've heard that they've told them, they put them kind of on notice that they got to do some work there or they're going to pull that.
It's bad, man. And I hadn't been out there in 20 years, but it was just very. I think I expected so much because it's the granddaddy of them all here. And here we go. Keith Jackson, Alabama, and Indiana. A lot of, but I'm curious to know what I'll relate to high school to you is this. How many teams in high school that, make it their first time to state championship game and their eyes are so big going into the Dome there in Atlanta? It's easier for teams like Carrollton and Buford and those guys play, and they play in big games almost every other, at least Friday night. Bowden and those type teams winning. But when you get a first timer in there, I don't know. These are the unknowns, Jeff. I don't know if they're going to look around and like, wow, we are in Pasadena, California, playing Alabama in their 100th year anniversary when they won the Rose Bowl, beat Washington 6-3.
I think,
wow, we are here. Holy moly, this is awesome. They've played Oregon and Ohio State. That's their only big games. Where Alabama's big games are for the whole month of October. Every Saturday was a big game. They were playing top 12 teams every weekend after weekend. I don't think Alabama flinches. This is nothing new to them. They don't care if they're playing Indiana or the 49ers. It's just the most important game because of the pride that they have in wearing the script today and knowing, what it is. It's just the most important game, Birds, because it's the next game. And I think Indiana may be a little emotionally trapped. I think Sig may be wound a little too tight. It's going to come down to play calls. It's going to come down to offensive rhythm, to which team can get a rhythm in the offense in the game the soonest. And I'm not a real big truster in Grubb. I hadn't been since probably week 5 or so. There's no fluidity in his offense. Thank God that DeBoer went out and we hired Derek Nix, which I love, and we can talk more about him in a minute. Love this guy. I grew up right here in Atala. He's just a few years younger than me. Been all over, been around, can recruit the state, and he's an offensive guy. I just don't know, even staff-wise too, DeBoer and Grubb and his staff, this is home. Bama has 15 players that grew up right around in that area within an hour's drive. I'm just not sure if Indiana, to make that travel out there and to get caught up in the trip and maybe going into town. I don't know if Sig's going to hold them in the hotel room and just focus on the game, or are they going to go to Rodeo Drive? Are they going to get to enjoy some of the experiences of California? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if their eyes are going to get too big.
I think one small thing that helps them is that they were there last year in the playoffs and were able to, not there, but, to a big occasion like that. But, we'll see. That's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited about all the games because we're going to see firsthand what's going down. 4 good ones. I think either one of them, you could point at all of them and give a case why this could be the best game. So, I like it.
Now, tell us about the rematch. Right up front, I'll give you a 10-second deal. I think Gunner has played well enough to control the team. I think Kirby and staff have done this, as I just made the case with Bama and how comfortable, the staff is going to be, playing this ball game for Georgia and Ole Miss. And it is a rematch, and Kirby does know that it's nearly impossible to beat a team twice, especially within the same, season. If Ole Miss defense shows up and gives Gunner a run for his money and they hold Georgia under 150 rushing, because Shamlis is a problem. He give Georgia fits. They kind of had the game won, had it locked up, and it just kind of went away from them late because Kirby and the staff knows how to hang on, and they don't lock up. The fourth quarter, is just as important as the first, and I think they've probably worked through some of that later in the year. I know some of that they've worked out because they've played lesser opponents. They hadn't had to play a tough down the backside stretch games like they did more toward the front of the season. I just think it's maybe a little much for Golden, and if he puckers a little bit in the seat, I just don't trust Ole Miss's defense. I think Georgia takes this and goes on to play Ohio State.
Well, two things happened that I don't think will probably repeat itself from the first game. First thing that happened, Ole Miss scored touchdowns on their first five possessions.
Yeah.
I do not think that that's going to happen this time. I believe, and I know it was like middle of the season when they played, maybe second half anyway. I feel like the secondary has improved a lot because the ability to rush the passer has got better, whether it be from blitzing linebackers or defensive linemen getting there. I feel like the one-on-one play, the jump ball early that killed you against Tennessee and maybe some against Ole Miss has improved a lot too. I think it's went Georgia's way a few more times.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that even though Tulane was able to run the ball for a good amount against Ole Miss defense and, put up a bunch of yards of offense. Obviously, some of it was in garbage play.
Yeah. Ole Miss kind of pulled the guys off.
The first game against Ole Miss, everybody talks about Ole Miss's 5 straight touchdowns to begin the game, like I said. But they don't talk about, conversely, the Georgia offense and Mike Bobo scored on every possession. 0 stops for Ole Miss. I don't think that happens either. I think that is another trend that's going to change. Both teams are up in the 40s. I don't think that happens. I think you're going to see – I think you could see a 30s game. I don't think you see 40s from both teams. I honestly think you see Georgia try to grind it a little more, run the ball, slow it down, try to make sure that Ole Miss is not able to get the 5 to 8 yards on first and second down, put them in those third and longs, get them off the field. Georgia gets 3 stops a half. Georgia wins by 10.
I can't. If Ole Miss gets something going and they can kind of get Georgia to stumble and was the stat that they didn't punt the ball till second half once or something like that. Ole Miss defense is going to have to play better. Okay. Yeah. And Golden is a defensive guy, I know, and he come from Bama, and I wasn't real crazy about him. He would leave the wrong packages in. Sometimes he would, want to like rush 3, like on a 3rd and 13, he would leave the run, package in for the front line and stuff like that. So I just don't know. I just go by what I could see. I just can't trust them.
We talked quarterbacks earlier, and that made me kind of wonder how Stockton was against ranked opponents versus ranked opponents this year. He's got about 1,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick, 77.5 is his completion percentage, 348 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. So, good stats, I'd say.
I think starting off fast, like Jeff was saying about, Aaron was saying about Alabama, start the game fast. Bama to beat Indiana. I also think too, and I said this the other day, I think Tide needs to run the ball a little bit. And I want to say 1st and 10, let Tide run the ball. If he gets 5 and it's 2nd and 5, hurry to the line. Let's get out of that, check and swap the play and check, and the tight ends run out and everybody swaps positions, and
you snap it with a half a second on the
let's not do that until we're ahead, like 2 scores. Grubb's timing is terrible with that kind of stuff. Let's put them in a little bit of hurry up and not swap, and make them keep the people on the field, because if we don't swap players, then Indiana can't swap players. Make them keep those guys on the field. They're going to be in passing D. Make them keep that passing D line on the field, on a 2nd or 3rd and short. That's how you do it. Hurry back up the line, have the next play ready, snap it, and go. So I'm saying that to pull the same thing with Georgia. Gunner can run the ball, so I think keeping Ole Miss off balance and not letting them swap guys in and out. And if Gunner does run the ball, like on say second and 7, he gets 5. It's 3rd and 2. Let's not look at the sideline for 10 seconds and wait. He's talking in the headset and getting the play in. Let's just have a play ready, and let's just get to the line and let Gunner decide the play. And let's just hurry up and get to the line and get the play out, and let's run it again. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the line and make them put. That's the whole thing with a hurry up. The whole point of ever doing it that Gus wanted to do it to Bama was to put them in a bad position. It puts the defensive linemen in a bad spot where they have to make a quick decision, and you get them turned around, and next thing you know, you're up the sideline for 35 yards.
Yeah, so I didn't say it on the last one that we talked about, but I did say I think Indiana wins, but I think Alabama covers the 6.5. And I think on this one here, I think Georgia wins, and I think Georgia's going to cover the 6.5.
Yeah, I think it may be a little too much for them. I like Georgia in this matchup. I mean, we've kind of said Ohio State's just probably outmatched Miami a little bit. They worried me by they couldn't score any more than that against A&M. And I know A&M's defense is not bad; they're pretty good, but
it's 9.5. That's too much. I think it's within the score, but I like Ohio State doing it.
Yeah. Now, Brett, tell us about Texas Tech and Oregon. Deontay Moore grew up around the hard streets of Michigan, thought he was going to go to Michigan. I kept up with him out of high school, top QB talent. He goes to UCLA, plays with Chip Kelly. Kelly leaves, takes the O job at Ohio State. Originally, Moore was hooked up with Oregon, but he didn't go, so now he winds up at Oregon. Waits his turn, plays behind Gabriel, waits. So now this Texas Tech team, they have a fun story. Their linebacker, he's married to a lady that's in the armed forces, and maybe some people saw when they were on game day and McAfee give him, $250,000 for hitting the crossbar. He was quarterback in high school. It's a fun story, and if NIL wins championships, then Notre Dame probably would win it every year. Or it seemed like Army would win it. If they got the money of the government, why wouldn't Army win it every year, or Navy? See what I'm saying? So I think Oregon's played in some more tested games, and the little tailback at Texas Tech, Dickey,
little small. Yes, sir.
I like him. Holy crap, he looks like one of the little James brothers that used to play at Oregon.
Cameron Dickey.
I think he can get up and down the field. He's going to be a problem for them, but I think Oregon's speed can cover. I kind of like Oregon in this game. What do you think?
I kind of went back and forth. I think this has the potential to be a higher scoring game. Right now, Oregon's favored by 2.5. The total is like 52.5. You would think Dante Moore and them would be able to throw the ball.
He's not the best passer in the world now. I mean, he'll turn the ball over. He's kind of like Reed at A&M. He'll have a good game, but boy, he'll have an inning. He'll just go through a stretch and he'll throw 2 picks.
And that's what I think keeps Texas Tech in this thing is they're one of the most opportunistic defenses that they are. I mean, they're going to slant, they're going to stunt, they're going to blitz, they're going to turn the ball over on you. I think they have they're plus 17 in a turnover ratio, which I mean, you're going to win a lot of games if you're sitting there, plus 17. You got a good quarterback for Texas Tech, but mostly everybody focuses on that Texas Tech defense. Well, one thing that you don't really talk about too much is the Oregon defense.
Yeah.
They do have their leader in tacklers, Bryce Boucher or something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
they got a lot of foreign guys. They got
they've got some interesting things going. But one thing that I did read about Oregon is 122nd at red zone defense. So, they're giving up points. You get into the red zone, they're not holding people out of scoring, which, an elite team you would think would be better than 122nd in scoring in the red zone. So I don't know. Some predictions has it as low as 20-17. I think this is a 30s game. I think there's going to be some defensive points, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's on the Texas Tech side.
Yeah, I love the story, and I think Oregon's got a few more playmakers, but more with him turning the ball over. Now, if he screws this up, because they had Indiana beat. Now, I went back and watched that game. I watched it live, and I went back and watched it and slowed it down and watched some more plays in the fourth quarter. Oregon had the Indiana beat. I mean, they were taking care of them up front in all games that Mendoza. That's why when he won the Heisman, it's a joke. That's the worst Heisman Trophy candidate ever. His forward these games he played ranked in, I went through those stats for you. He's not thrown for over 210 yards in any of those games, and he threw a pick in every one of those games. Anytime he's had to play somebody, he's just average. He's just a good quarter. He's okay. And Oregon Moore had 2 picks late in the game that just give the ball back to Indiana and let them score. I just don't have much. I don't know, man. I think Oregon can hang in there, but if Moore turns the ball over, man, because Tech, their defense, Jeff, it's $30 million defense. That's a lot of money to throw around. It'll be interesting to see if Tech can play that way all day. You know what I'm saying? Like in the fourth quarter, can your defense hang on? Are they still around? Are they in condition to be able to run with these players? Because we all know Oregon usually has a little bit on the smaller side of guys. They're just faster, from offensive lineman to defensive lineman. That's just how they play. That's kind of how they've always played. I kind of lean with the Ducks on this, but if Tech won, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let me tell you this. I've had a hankering. I've been watching. I watched some of this Texas Tech defense. I've seen Morton as well, the quarterback, and like you said, Dickey, the running back. I like him. They got a couple of receivers that can go. Linebacker for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
His name escapes me, but man, this guy is a dude.
Yeah, the mustache guy.
It may be the same guy. It may be the same guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. He was a quarterback in high school.
Jacob Rodriguez.
He's an athlete. Yeah, he's an athlete. His wife flies a helicopter in the Air Force or something. Man, she's a badass. I mean, it's a great story.
Give me the defensive team. Give me Texas Tech. It's 2.5. I'll take them to cover. Give me Texas Tech on to the next round, and heck, we'll have another great matchup in the next round, whether it be Texas Tech and Alabama or Texas Tech and Indiana. That'll be another good one. Either way.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Bama plays the Ducks, and you got Tech playing Indiana.
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah. Now, did you get to catch any of the games Saturday, Tech and BYU? Did you go through any of those?
I did watch. I watched probably 2 quarters, maybe a little over 2 quarters of that Tech and BYU game.
Yeah, kind of guess. I mean, Tech's just it's 21-10, man. I mean, I'm watching them play, and King winds up with 270 yards, and he rushes for over 30 or 40 yards, and I'm just like, well, BYU's really not that good, I guess. I don't know. I mean, number 12 is just kind of getting poured on here. Well, Tech obviously forgot that there's another half to play of the football game. And Beecher, freshman kid, I mean, he just looks like he's never even shaved yet. He winds up with over 320 yards, throws a touchdown, throws a pick. But their tight end, Carson Ryan, goes freaking nuts. 120 yards on the day. And, one of the receivers, Roberts, catches a touchdown for him. But shout out Rivers receiving over 100, and Rutherford for Tech receiving for over 100. Also, Tech outrushed them, but they couldn't outpass them. And the Rambling Wreck Birds, hell, they just forgot that there's another half to play.
I ain't never seen such. I was watching, I believe Tech had the ball. Maybe they were up 21. or 21-10 or something at the time. And they threw the ball out to the left. The guy caught it, made a move. There was a defensive player falling to the ground that stuck his foot up in the air. It hit the ball, knocked it loose. BYU gets on it eventually. They go down, they score, and they end up turning the ball game around. And it's like it all was downhill from there. It was crazy. I've never seen a foot knock a ball loose. I mean, I know how it could, but
yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know if Coach Keys and I've begged and sent emails to his wife and his mama, please come back and coach the offensive line in Alabama. Please, God, please. We'll double your salary, what they paying you at Tech. God, somebody help the offensive line in Alabama. They're terrible. So yeah, I don't know, man. Some teams just, they lacked that little bit of focus, and it just wasn't in them to, to finish the game out. And BYU had a little bit of dog in them. They get the win, so that's going to carry that team on into the 26th season. That'll be good for them for recruiting and that type stuff. Speaking of Big 12 and a big rival out there with a battle of the religions, Mormons and BYU and the kids playing up at Utah. It's always it's a war game. What about Swingham? Being the new coach at Michigan. What's your first thoughts of that when you first seen it? What'd you think?
Well, he has a tendency, or his teams kind of take on the way he is. And to me, he's kind of a roughneck type, kind of a physical guy. He's going to bring that physical, stature to it. He's going to want them to run the ball, play good run defense. And, I mean, that's what they need, I think, at Michigan. I think they need somebody to standardize that physicality. They don't have plenty of talent. They'll be able to sign plenty of guys. I mean, it's Michigan.
Yeah.
Once he gets his setup in there, I mean, can you think of a guy, coach-wise, that's done more with less as far as talent at Utah?
No, he's been there for 20 years. I mean, he's done a good job. He's 177 and 88. He's quarterback guy. He's friendly. Quarterbacks like him. He's going to always have a good quarterback. He likes to play defense. They're definitely going to, run the ball. His demeanor, his personality is exactly what Michigan needs right now, because they have a freaking mess on their hands.
They need some stability.
They have such a mess. There's no character to any of the coaches anymore. There's no honor among any of them. It's just a trash pile of just absolute, just heathenism. Is what Granny would call it. Just a bunch of heathens. They still have seven guys on staff still that's got, records to, being arrested. There's a lot of sexual perversity up there. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. Kyle is the right hire for exactly what they need right now. He's not the guy that's going to come in and coach 10 more years. I mean, he's already, in his 60s.
It's a 5-year deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, let him come in there and work. If he gets 3 years in and they go to, bowl games, second, third year, and can maybe get in the playoffs one of those years, then you start looking for maybe the guy you missed on, like a Dillingham or some guy like that from Arizona, a younger guy that can lead the program into the future. I mean, they've got like an interim president, I think, right now at Michigan. So it's such a bad, perverted, nasty, nasty place. And when I first saw it, I thought that's exactly who they need. He could really help the culture up there right now at Michigan and what's going on. It's the cesspool of just Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it really is, man. And we're talking about from, partner swapping to OnlyFans stuff going on during the game, like texting women. Come on, man. It's too proud of a program, okay, to say that, Michigan is one of the known football blue-collar blue bloods of college football. There's just no reason for it to be where it's at. And I'm blaming on Harbaugh because he's just kind of a slime bag anyway. I've never liked him. I feel about him about like I do Hugh Freeze. I just don't care for him, man. I don't like him. I don't think I just don't like them. They aren't good people. Maybe they are now. Freeze, supposedly turned his life around and stuff. But these guys were involved in a lot of shady, crappy stuff. So I like this hire for Michigan. I think it's great. And it's good for him, man. I mean, good for the guy. 20 years at this place, like you said, to take less and make it more, he's going to get paid. He's going to make a great salary. I mean, he's definitely wealthy. His kids don't have to really work. But this kind of money he's going to make there, shoot, man. I mean, this is like your great-grandkids won't have to work kind of money. So I love it. I think it's a great hire, and it's what the culture needs right now. God bless him. I hope he does well up there for himself, not for the programs. I really care less about Michigan, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's see one more here. 13-7, Missouri just come out with their hair on fire out of the tunnel. Zollers threw only for 100 yards. We thought this was going to run for about 300. It wound up being 160. Hardy didn't even make it to 100. He had all that talk going into this game. He's the same way as Mendoza. He looks good against bad talent. I mean, like I told you earlier, he ain't got a combined 100 yards against Alabama and Georgia. It just is what it is. And Virginia decides that, they're going to just kind of keep it down the middle. ACC champs got their guys all in there. Morris throws for 200, and they run the ball for a little over 100 yards. And here's the thing. 13-7 was the final of the game. Virginia just showed up in the third quarter, scores, and then kicks a field goal, gets another field goal. They had one before half, but this is the crap we're hearing. Well, the SEC is blown another one. Well, here's some more facts about raising the hood and checking the oil before you buy a car. They're on about their third-string quarterback. I know their guards didn't play. I know their linebackers didn't play. And their corners and safeties, I know they didn't play neither. Half of them opted out, and the other rest of them are going to the draft. This was a statement game for Virginia. They felt like in their staff to win their conference, go play a pretty good SEC team, and win. If Missouri has all their guys playing the same team that played Alabama, Missouri don't lose this game. I promise you they don't lose this game. They're not losing that game.
One thing I didn't mention when we were talking about Georgia, and we actually, for some reason, and we never get to do this, but there was a lot of different media outlets that were able to watch some significant practice time. I think they had 15 minutes, and they were actually in pads at practice, not warming up now. I mean, running some physical drills. Normally, you only get like the first 15 minutes, and then you're done. Well, Kobe Young was spotted running routes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. No brace, no ankle brace, no nothing. I'm not sure if he's going to be released for contact, but he's definitely looking good. That could be another chink in the chain to help the dogs out, because early in the season you could throw him the ball and he was an automatic 5 to 10 yards.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Yeah. Me and Dean, we was talking about him, watching him when y'all played one of the second or third games, one of the better games. The first game, I thought, hell, sheesh, man, crap, this guy's gonna be. He's like that Green kid, ain't it? It's a big kid at LSU that made the catches the other night. Holy crap, man! And I was like, oh wow, this guy's gonna be special.
He kind of reminds me of the guy in Seattle that that moved on to Pittsburgh. Anyway, can't think.
I know you're talking about.
Big physical guy.
LSU and Houston, 38-35, turned out to be a good game. And again, this is, and I know, Big Ten watchers, that's fine. They're going to say, well, Matt, LSU, they're a good team. They kind of represent the SEC and, and what they're about. In Missouri, here they come in. Both these teams lose. These big, ACC and the Big 12. It's the same thing, though. Guys, they ain't even got their starting quarterback. Van Buren has started some of the last couple of games that they've played. They don't have a coach. Half their staff is at Ole Miss trying to help them win a championship. Then they're only coming back part of the week. I know 3 of the guys, their starters from LSU, opted out, and you have other guys going pro. Their best linebacker, that's Weeks guy, he's great. He's on the sideline. They had like 7 or 8 guys over there in sweatpants. LSU did. So they're not playing in the game. And I know that we gripe about we like bowl games because we like football. But what it's come to realize to me, as in watching some bowl games the past few days, is it don't mean more. The SEC, not in bowl games.
It's a tune-up
they're not
next season.
Huh?
It's just a tune-up for the next season. You're
Well,
trying to get noticed for the next team, maybe.
Yeah, they're not playing for the national championship, so SEC teams are brats, and they're like, shit, I'm opting. I don't care nothing about it. They're just being buttholes. This LSU team, Houston showed up with a full staff and all their starters in here and their staffs all together, and then they've been made a run at it. They were 9-3 coming in on the year.
I give credit to LSU for actually taking the guys they did have and going and playing the game and not being scared of being ridiculed and not being like Notre Dame and taking their ball and going home.
Yeah, just be chicken shit and then complain about it. Like, shut up, dude. You're like, nobody wants to hear Alabama complain. Nobody wants to hear Notre Dame complain either. You have way too many opportunities. Now this Wagman, you remember Wagman, however you call it, he was at A&M. I remember watching him play. I've always thought he was pretty good. He threw for 230 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hell, they run the ball for 200 yards. This Connors kid went for 130 rushing. He's from freaking Hawaii. He's got nearly 1,000 yards rushing on the year and 6 touchdowns. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. Who knew, and LSU did turn the ball over. Of course, that don't help none. But, Van Buren, I don't know if he comes back next year. He'll be a junior coming back next year. He wound up over a little over 1,000 yards. It's just not – it's hard to say, well, SEC they're just getting their cheeks clapped out here by these other crap teams. Well, they're not playing their guys. And they're like, well, that's just a cop-out, Matt. You're just making excuses. Well, whatever. Whatever makes you feel good, I guess. That's just how it is.
It's going to continue to be that way too.
Yeah. Let's see here. North Texas, San Diego State was a good game. I watched some of that one. Penn State. What's up with Dabo, Birds? Is he? They're 7-6 on the year. I mean, they just barely qualified to make it to a freaking bowl game. Klubnik leaves Clemson as one of the top passers in the school. He threw for nearly 200 yards. He did take care of the ball. They ran for 43 freaking yards, man. 43 yards, and he throws for $190. Is he done? I mean, what is Dabo? He just seems like the goofy uncle that shows up to the freaking barbecue, and you see him getting out of the car, and you're like, oh, shit, here he comes. Man, God dang, I don't want to talk to him. You know what I mean? What's up with Dabo?
I don't know how they didn't fire him.
Oh, my God, man.
I mean, he took losses to, Penn State at the end of the year, I get it. LSU, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, SMU, Duke. I mean, is 7-6 and finishing 7th in the ACC? Is that okay?
10 points is all you could muster up. Come on, man.
Against the 7-6 Penn State team.
Now, I know ACC is not their program is not great or whatever, but, I mean, that game should have been the other way around. I mean, I didn't think it's going to be like the Army-UConn, like 41-16 or 18-3 Fresno beats Miami or something like that. Looks like tomorrow Georgia Southern plays App State in the Protective Stadium down there in Birmingham, Alabama. And then Tuesday you got Coastal and La Tech. You got Tennessee and Illinois-Burge at 3:30. USC and TCU that playing that night. Then Wednesday, Iowa plays Vandy. Arizona State plays Duke. 2 o'clock, Michigan and Texas. I like that one. Nebraska, Utah. That could be a good game. It's played up there in Las Vegas, 2:30. And then the night there, looks like Miami and Ohio State will play at 6:30 Wednesday night. Then, of course, the next day, the first, will be Oregon and Tech will kick it off. Then you're going to get Bama, Indiana, and then Ole Miss and Georgia will close the night out. So there's still some good. Tuesday's probably the better. Tennessee, Illinois, maybe. Wednesday, Iowa and Vandy. I'll be interested in that game. See how that turns out. And Duke, hell, they, had a great season. They're going to play in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Michigan and Texas at 2 is probably going to be the better game, and most people's not going to get to see that because most people's going to be at work. So,
yep.
What else you got for us, son?
That's about it. We split decision when it comes to bowl games.
Yeah, Wednesday's probably the better day. Of course, Tuesday some, and of course, the first, you're going to get a good day of games that day. I'll probably come on after the Bama Indiana game and just give some remarks, whatever happened. All right, everybody, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up before you get out of here. Find Benton Burge, Northwest Georgia Scoreboard Show over there. Look him up on Google. Find him on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. And are you on Applecast, all that stuff?
No, we hadn't messed with any of those casts. We just are on Facebook, Twitter. We actually have a website, northwestgeorgiafootball.com. You can get us there.
There you go.
Mostly on Facebook and Twitter. The Twitterverse is where we have.
There's an app that I use here, and I'll tell you what it is. You can go to you go through Spotify and create an account, and you can load it up to there, and it'll link. You just go in and set the account up, and it'll throw out your podcast to iHeartRadio and Applecast too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As you load it there, it'll also go to those other ones also. I've used it for probably about 3 years. And we'll get 10 or 20, listens through the weeks, usually what I get. It's not a lot, but we do have a little bit of a podcast audience, people that can just ride and listen or whatever.
Yeah.
Lastly, I got to say this before I get off. Bama hiring Derek Nix. I mentioned that earlier. I'll give you a little bit more insight on that. I think it's a great hire. I think they absolutely got a steal. He's going to be co-offensive coordinator. And with his experience here in this area, player relationships, how he can recruit, how he coaches, he's a get after it kind of guy. He don't put up no crap. He'll get in the players. He'll get in their face, and he's going to make them better. And we're losing the Sheridan kid as a quarterback coach to Michigan State to call plays, and our wide receiver coach lost him to go to head coach at Oregon State. Derek Nix is a absolutely beast of a hire. I love it. And to me, this is like a knock on the door for Ryan Grubb saying, dink, 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 hello. Brother, I tell you what, this play calling and how this flow of the game's been going for you this year, we got a guy in here, Derek Nix, that's a good play caller. I suggest you get your shit together, bro, because you can go find you another job and go back up to Seattle and take your Michigan graduate wife with you too, because I've heard that she don't like it here because she is – you can find her Twitter and you can decide that what side of the politics her scales weigh. And she graduated in Michigan. I don't need to tell you nothing else. It's not on the same. It's a little bit different. And I don't care to say that because it's not talking about nobody. And me and her did actually talk back and forth on Twitter some. I just tell you like it is. I don't care. Derek Nix is a fantastic hire, and to me, nobody else has said this. That does it put Grubb on notice? To me, it would. If I'm calling plays and you've got to bring in a guy and you make him co-offensive coordinator, and he worked at Ole Miss for 12 years or so, recruited from the McAllister. Remember all those cats that Ole Miss had back in the day? He was the coach, man. He was the guy that Dexter and all those guys, he's the one that helped all those guys develop. And you've seen the plays. They had almost, 500 yards against Vanderbilt, him calling plays when they run up there and Auburn played that game. I love it. He played at Etowah. He graduated in the early 2000s, went to Southern Miss, did this, that, and the other. He had offers from Bama and Auburn. I remember to be I wanted him to play linebacker. He wanted to be a tailback. He dumped those offers and went to Southern Miss and run the ball out there and run for 1,000 yards for about 2 seasons out there at Southern Miss. So he's a dude, okay? And as far as people that I know that know him from around the area there, he's just a great guy. I think kids really respect him, and they'll play for him. And this could be exactly what somebody like Ryan Williams needs. I'm thinking there's always something that goes down in the game that nobody ever talks about, like the Oklahoma game, the guy putting the punt on the ground. That was weird. Maybe with Nix being there, this may give Hollywood a little confidence, or maybe Coach Nix can work with him a little bit, because Hollywood with Brooks and Horton and Bernard, and you get Hollywood dialed in, they could make a run at this thing with those 4 guys. They could be hard to handle if they got 4 hot hands out there catching the football, and their defense is top 5. So I love this hire. I'm excited about it. And we poke at Auburn because we're Alabama and Georgia, and we're going to poke at Auburn. But to say you made a big steal from them, this is a big steal from a rival school. Even Auburn people's like, bro, you got us on this one because he's great. We would love to have been able to keep him. But so I like this hire, Derek Nix to Alabama to be co-offensive coordinator. He's got time coaching running backs and receivers. I like it, man. I do. So shout out Coach Nix. Good luck to him, and ready to see him get in there and get after it. But the other Bama coaches are staying until they get done, until whatever happens. So that's some news on that. And I did see practice. You're talking about your big guy, no ankle brace and stuff. When I did see Ryan making some great catches at practice, which means nothing, I noticed that Brooks was kind of limping a little bit. Foot wasn't taped. Maybe he just rolled his ankle there at practice. It's not a big deal. He'll be fine. I don't know. But so Alabama fans, that's something else you could keep an eye on. That Lazier, the guy that showed out and showed off there at the Oklahoma game. Freshman, by the way. Freshmen in Bama are owning the team right now. This is DeBoer's guys are playing very well, which is good for next year. So win or lose, Rose Bowl, Bama's got good players coming for next year to another good recruiting class. So I like this Coach Nix hire. I like it. I dig it.
Yes, sir.
Put a little pressure on Grubb. I'm just not I think I expected more, and it just hasn't been. There's no like flow to the game. You have highs and lows and plays. He's just, I don't know, man. I just don't like his flow. I don't know. And that's going to be probably just a big part of the game. It's just coaching styles and flow of the game, and not letting Indiana have any momentum. It's going to have a lot to do with it, man. It's going to have a lot to do with it. So we'll see how it all works out. I'll take Bama in this one. I don't think Indiana's quite seen the type of players all year. I know they hadn't, that they're going to run up against. Not weekly. They've played some good opponents, but have you done it week after week after week after week? Everybody's like, we come down to the SEC, we probably beat Georgia. Well, you may beat Georgia, and then you play 7 cupcakes. I mean, your team's healthy. Kirby and DeBoer both said in the SEC championship game, this locker room's got – Bama had 7 starters out. and Georgia had starters out. He's like, these teams are beat to death, and we ain't get in that 9 conference game schedule crap because that's hurt us, man. We're going to struggle to get teams in the playoffs. It's going to be hard because we're going to have a lot of SEC teams with at least 2 losses because you're going to play 9 conference games and at least 6 of them's ranked. Well, good luck with that. Kirby was griping. Kirby and DeBoer, and they didn't even talk. Maybe they did talk about it, off to the side because I'm sure they talk a little bit. Kirby said that locker room over there, they got guys beat up, and DeBoer said that team we just played, they got guys beat up over there. Like we're playing a conference championship game, and we got guys out. And just think this will be like a regular season game. Then you're going to go play a conference game after that. Dang it. There's no way it's good for the SEC. No way.
Nope.
All right, homie.
All right.
Your time as always. Everybody have a great week, and roll tide to everybody. And hey, look, if they don't win, if they show up and just play bad, it is what it is. But if they go out there and play some bullshit crap, and Grubb can't get his bro. I don't like losing like that.
I think it'll be a good game. I think they all probably will.
If here's the last one, then here's the last good question. Of all those that are still left, which one could be the blowout?
Which one could be the blowout?
You think Ohio State could blow Miami out? That was the first one that just come to my head. They may get up on them about 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying 17 or more is kind of a blowout. 3 scores.
Man, I don't know. I like that Miami's defense ability to hinder the quarterback, and we've seen what happened to Sayin when Indiana was able to get after him.
You think Tech gets after Oregon, or Oregon just runs a score up on Tech, and Tech's just their fake gold? And
it's possible. I don't think Tech is built to play comeback if Oregon gets up by 14 or 17. I don't like their chances there. When I think about the ability to score one way or another, if Ole Miss or Georgia gets 3 or 4 stops in a row and the other side can't play defense, it could be a blowout one way or another. Yeah,
Georgia might get up on them because they're missing, and that staff too, guys. Listen, Ole Miss, their staff is running. They're running back and forth. Now they're done at LSU now, but they've been running this week. For the past 2 weeks, they've been running back and forth, kind of trying to help Ole Miss. So now they're kind of sunk in there for this week, but that's hard to do. Trying to run a staff to run 2 different teams, that's a big task. So and Ole Miss defense ain't just knock down, drag out anyway. Georgia will have to turn the ball over and do some silly crap, I think, to lose this one.
Got to play better defense than they did last time.
Yeah. All right, everybody, y'all take it breezy. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God, and have a great week. And, Birds, we'll see you next year, bro.
We'll see you.
All right, bro. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, we have come to the end of another great show here at Locker Room Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and we'll probably see you back on probably after the Bama game. All right. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.